On the mission keys, you fight through the infected corridors of Truth and Reconciliation, searching for the captain and move on. But if you stop and actually look around, you'll notice something almost nobody talks about: Spec Ops Elites. Not one, not two, but entire strike teams. They are already fighting the Flood before you arrive. No cutscene explains them, no dialogue points them out. They're simply there, battling through a ship everyone else has already given up on. These weren't reinforcements, they were a last resort. To understand why they're here, you first need to understand who Spec Ops Elites actually are. These weren't ordinary Covenant soldiers. Spec Ops units represented the Covenant's most trusted warriors, deployed for missions too dangerous, too important, or too secret for standard infantry. Assassinations, espionage, high-value recoveries, operations where failure simply wasn't acceptable. Campaign Evolved even restores their original Combat Evolved appearance, and might I say, it is easily my favorite in the entire game. Gone is the bright purple armor we've seen in later Halo games. Instead, they're wrapped in black armor with deep violet highlights, blending into the darkness, like warriors who were never meant to be seen. And then the Flood happened. When the Truth and Reconciliation was overrun, the Covenant couldn't simply abandon it. If the Flood repaired the cruiser's engines and escaped Alpha Halo, the parasite wouldn't just consume the ring, it would spread across the galaxy. So Covenant strike teams went in with a clear mandate: purge the Flood from the ship, make sure it didn't launch while still infested, and hold the corridors long enough for engineers to get it flight ready again, so the cruiser could leave Halo under Covenant control, not the Flood's. On paper, it sounded possible. In reality, it became a political disaster. The Elvadami, Supreme Commander of the fleet, wanted the infestation contained before it spread, but every decision had to pass through the Prophet of Stewardship. To him, preserving the Sacred Ring and the Truth and Reconciliation serving as his command ship was far more important than military efficiency. Heavy plasma bombardments, torpedoes, and anything that risked damaging Halo was forbidden, not because it was tactically unsound, but because it was heresy. The Prophet repeatedly overruled Thel's containment efforts, diverted Covenant forces, and crippled the military response just as the Flood was gaining ground. So instead of destroying the cruiser before it was too late, they kept sending Spec Ops teams inside. The first team disappeared, so another was sent, then another, then another. Soon, the corridors became a battlefield between the Flood and the Covenant's finest. These soldiers weren't sent because victory was likely. They were sent because politics and religion had made every other option impossible. And while the Covenant's leaders argued over preserving a sacred relic, their shadows kept marching into hell. That's why Campaign Evolved's environmental storytelling is so brilliant. It simply fills the level with Spec Ops Elites and trusts you to notice. Every black armored elite you pass isn't just another enemy. They're warriors tasked with the impossible. Most players walk straight past them. I'm glad I didn't.